Do I look sexy?
Always.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Whew. Yeah, today was interesting. Good first day of the month.
Well, first of all, welcome.
Thank you.
Such a pleasure to have you during this time, Daisy.
Thank you. And thank you for having me. That's key.
Yo,
thank you.
Got a new.
Yes.
All right, so Daisy, everybody, thank you for tuning in. Daisy's been a very close friend of mine, my sister from another mister, right? And
yes.
we have both been through a lot of obstacles, and Daisy's right now in an interesting adventure. She's very in tune with herself, very in tune with what's next in life, and very hopeful and optimistic about her future and touching other people's lives. So without further ado, Daisy, if I'm missing anything, right, please dive in and let the people know what's up as I fix my eyebrows real quick, all right?
Yes. Okay, let him shut up. So here I no, honestly, again, just I'm beyond grateful to being able to connect with you and just like share exciting news, share this journey with you, and allowing each other to be part of each other's journey. That's important, right? And we've learned that the people who ride with you will always be there, and you'll see who's there and who's not, and you've one of the many who really been there, and
absolutely.
I appreciate you dearly. And going back to my journey, through experience, life teaches us so many things, right? Good and bad. We either tend to hold on to the good and hold on to the bad, what you choose, right? And I've learned that through my experience, that you got to let go of the past, right? And keep going, even though it's a weight on your shoulder at the moment and you feel so lost and don't know where your direction is. But I always say this, and might hear me say this all the time, but keep going, right? So from my experience, I went through a lot, right? Domestic violence to like almost going to jail, through like really not knowing what I was going to do with myself next. And, through that journey, you learn so much. Experience teach you, right? You grow. And that's up to you though. You choose, make that choice, right? Only you. No one can tell you. You can get all the tools from a therapist, from a doctor, from a friend, from family, but that's the tool, right? To have the support system. But at the end of the day, it all starts with you, right? You. And I creating something to kind of guide people and reminding people that life is beautiful. The journey, whether good or bad, is life lessons, and we got to just embrace them and accept them for what they are, and then keep going, right? I know as so like repetitive as it sounds, you have to, right? Get stuck and we're like, where do we go? So that's where I'm headed to. I want to just build a community, just help people, men and women, because just like men and so just like women, we all go through that, relate, right? And I want to build something, and I'm working towards that, and I'm gonna get there, and I'm gonna take to the finish line. And once I'm at the finish line, I'm gonna keep going to the other finish line. You just have to keep going. You don't have to limit your success. You don't have to limit anything. They say, again, as cliche it sounds, the sky's the limit, but it's just how you see life and how you want to go from there.
So important that you say that. I was listening to a quick YouTube video from Matthew McConaughey, huge fan of his, and they asked him in high school, Daisy, what do you want to be when you grow up? He's like, I want to be myself in 10 years, right? 10 years passed, and they asked him, yo, did you fulfill that dream? He said, absolutely not. They're like, why not? Because I want to be myself in the next 10 years. So what I'm trying to get at is that I fucking love this guy, but he's never content with who he is. He's always trying to be a better version of him. You know what I mean?
Yes.
He's always trying to build to a different level, right? And the more mistakes we make in life, Daisy, you and I have both been through a number of them, and I'm gonna ask you, all right? So you got to tell me what is and what isn't good for this podcast, all right? But the more we experience shit, Daisy, the more we get in tune with ourselves and ask ourselves, where are we in life? Is this the
Right.
right place? Is this the right time? Is this the right situation? Right? In relationship with the homies, relationship with a significant other, of course, right?
And you and yourself, most importantly. I think that's just key, right? Before having a significant, relationship with anybody else, it
Yeah,
all starts with you. Definitely.
100%. If you're not in tune with yourself, and I say this, but we talk about a lot of things and we tend to not practice them sometimes. But if you're not in tune with yourself, what the fuck are you doing in another relationship? And not relationship. I'm not talking about just a relationship. Work. We're gonna talk
Yeah.
about work next, Daisy,
Mhm.
because you keep talking about that, right? And it's very important. I'm gonna pick your brains on that. We're talking about relationship with homies. Who's in your circle? Are you in the right fucking circle, or do you think you're in the right circle? Right? Booty
Mhm.
calls, relationships, yada yada yada. You know what I'm trying to
Yeah.
get.
No, I know.
If you're not in tune with yourself, if you don't have the right strings to your guitar, you're just a broken record. You know what I mean? So before I get to the next topic, Daisy, I want to say I'm very proud of you in regards to
Thank you.
the fact that you're absolutely my pleasure. In regards to you're digging deep within yourself at this time in life. Okay, you subtracted the media, social media, the outside stuff, all the distractions that everybody is used to doing. You know what I mean? And you're very in
Mhm.
tune with yourself. You're a different version, Daisy. I
Thank
do and I
you.
don't know you, so I'm
Thank you.
excited to pick your brain.
Honor is cry because I've been emotional all day.
Hey, emotional is good. People see it as a
Yep.
weakness.
No shame. No shame
Yeah.
on that. Yeah, but I learned that the hard way. We learn to kind of like put away those emotions or being vulnerable. You gotta be tough because that's what, you know, our culture teaches us as Latinos, especially like single mothers, because they go through so much like, well, we gotta tough out for you guys. So now you gotta be tough. But it's like, no,
Your mom single?
no,
Okay,
she's
okay.
not. You're funny.
I'm just saying, you know this so well. I can relate. I can relate to it. I've been in that situation, when my parents are separated, but Latinos are in a lot of pressure when it comes to masculinity. So I wanted to see what you thought of that. When you said something about domestic violence, I heard alarms all over my head, right? If you don't mind just talking more into that.
So I feel like when it comes to domestic violence, I feel like people look at you like, oh, you went through that. That's the first thing. Oh, I'm sorry. That's
Mm,
you hear a gasp like, really, and oh, I'm sorry. But I've through that experience, right, that phase in my life, at that looking back, and I look back and I don't. There's nothing there. There's no more shame. There's no more present moment, no shame, no more embarrassment,
why not?
no, because you let things go. You have to let them go, right? To be a better person, to love yourself, to be a better person for you, right? That's key. Everything you do has to come from you and for you, and everything else will fall into place, right?
Yeah.
That's what I've learned. And I feel like when I look back, right, like present moment Daisy, it's cool. I talk about it like nothing, like, oh yeah, I went through that. Past day, like old Daisy, 5 years ago Daisy, 6 years ago Daisy, 7 years ago Daisy, because it's been 7 years now. I look back at her and I'm like, wow, you lose yourself, and a lot of people can relate. You lose yourself, you forget who you are, because all you're doing is just trying to stay strong, right? Pretend and really like tell yourself, well, I'm going to be okay because somehow this individual loves me, and that's how it is. And that's all you think about, this person, not you.
Individual, you're talking about your relationship, right? Your
Yep.
ex.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Your relationship, this individual, like, because the massive violence just it's a person, a individual who's harming you, or you're allowing to harm you, right?
Okay.
And I think something I've learned, that it's not the physical part that is the worst, it's the mental and the emotional part of the abuse, where you're so attached to the idea it's okay. You're so attached to this idea, well, he didn't mean to. You're so, you make things okay, and God knows they're not okay, but that's all you know at the moment because you're so stuck in this situation. And it's hard. It's hard. And I look back, excuse me, I look back and I remember I'm like, how did I make that okay? And I knew it was not okay. I knew I was like being hurt in level, but you start blaming yourself. You play the, oh, it's kind of my fault. I triggered them. Oh, it's my fault. I, I should have not said nothing. You start yourself, you don't connect with your friends. You're like, you lose yourself. Like, you look like shit. I look like shit. And, I laugh at her like, wow, but no, like, I didn't feel pretty. I tried, but I just couldn't.
Or Daisy,
I just feel like I didn't even know who I was. And that.
you weren't Daisy. You're not
What
the
happened?
Daisy that I know. You're not the Daisy that I know. The Daisy that I know is very optimistic, energetic, right? Smiling all the time. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Women tend to be, and it's not an Aries thing, right? Because we're both
No.
Aries, of course, right? But women tend to be more of a nurturer, right?
Mm-hmm. For
More
sure.
patient, and they hold on to things a little longer, even when it doesn't make sense, right? So,
Definitely.
and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, it might have been the age, right? Because today the Daisy would be like, hell no.
No, yeah. Because I feel like going again, just you at the moment, just going back to like tuning in, okay, her, excuse me, going back to that old version of Daisy. Yeah, I didn't know. We don't know better. We know, but we didn't know better either. And at the time, it's like, we, like I said, we knew it wasn't okay, but we just allowed it to be okay. It became okay. Well, he's still here. He's treating me like that, but he still loves me. Those are the first things. Like, well, he cares for me. He tells me he loves me, or
Yeah,
and this person's harming you. That anxiety is just like up the roof. The you look at yourself, you're like, who are you? Allowing that to be okay,
yeah,
allowing to be offended, verbally offended in every level, harming your body, harming your soul, your spirit, and not even realizing that that's what's happening. And everybody looking at you like, look at this dumbass. But that's how people will look at you, but you didn't care. You're
yeah,
like, I'm gonna to fight for this relationship. And that's like, what about yourself? What about for
yeah.
you? You know,
Why are you
that's what
fighting so much for someone who isn't putting their hat? How long? How long were you with this cat?
4.5 years.
Oh, okay. And when did you start, if you don't mind me asking, when did you start seeing this pattern?
I think I'm a year after. Mm-hmm.
Hey, wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And because usually you got that little honeymoon phase, right? A couple of months pass and they try to put up a front, both women and men, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And then the true self starts coming out, right?
Mm-hmm. And
Journey.
once you see those true colors,
Yeah,
there's you can't go back to that. You like, you want this person to be the way like when we met, but it's like you look at it and I'm like, you look at it as like, okay, it was a front, like you have issues, people have issues, but we don't we tend to like make them okay, like it's okay, poor thing. It's like it's crazy just to realize that you really like put up with so much shit for so long. People
yeah,
would just say us, and then no, I was like, oh, there's moments like, oh, we had our little good moments, like and it felt good. But then everything else, you look at everything, you balance it out, the way the good and the bad. There was more bad than good, but you wanted to hold on to the good so badly. Like, I'm just gonna take this little good and just carry with me, and all the bad around you. It's like holding the good and you're still getting your ass. It's like when you want something. When you I know it's just a stupidest way to picture it, but when you get candy and you put it in there, like it's so good, and you're just coming into everyone's jumping on you.
yep,
And that's what it was. That's how it was. Like, this is mine. Like, don't touch me. Don't get it. But it's like you want to hold on to that so badly when you just have to let it go because it's nothing. It's nothing at all. It's literally like shit compared to all the bad, negative, and harm it's causing you, or this individual is causing you.
well, I hate to say this. I always say this to people when they go through a obstacle. I'm glad that shit happened to you, right? And it's not like I wish bad upon you. Is that
No,
this experience made you open your eyes, if I'm not mistaken,
no,
to
definitely. Oh yes, 100%.
in your life, right? What you
Yeah.
don't need in your life, right? And when I look at you, Daisy, your posts, everything, even you right now, right? You have a different glow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's not, I'm not saying that you were faking the funk back then, right? But it's just a different energy, a different vibe, right? I would love to get into that next, right? Your spirituality. Tell me more about, and tell the people, because I know about this already, what your next steps are in life.
I think in like just kind of moving backwards, going backwards a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, it started like just going through that really unfortunate time of my life. And then kind of just feeling disconnected with just everything. And you just feel like, oh, I'm gonna like tap, like I said, put it a band-aid over it and then just keep going because that's what you're taught. Like you don't talk to nobody about it, you don't share it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have support, the correct support system, because I was so embarrassed. We tend to just say, well, this is embarrassing. You become so shameful about it. And
You
you're
did it
like,
with
you
your
never
friends,
talk
your family?
about it. Nope, I did not. And I think after letting go of that, I was just like, I'm gonna travel, I'm gonna go enjoy myself, live the single life. But sometimes that's not okay either. You kind of have to just face these things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Healing is like something I've said this, and we'll get more in tune to that later, but healing is fucking ugly, it's not pretty. And if whoever told you that healing is beautiful, then they're lying to you because it's not beautiful. You're like connecting with all kinds of demons because you're detoxing. And I like to say that you detoxing all the bad that you experience or you're living at the moment. And you're just trying to get to that beautiful journey of yours, right?
Yeah.
And can you see me? I feel like my light is like so low. But yes, there we go. See how I'm glowing. But no, on going back to this on a serious note, yeah, like it's ugly to heal, right? Healing is not beautiful. And you're gonna just find yourself in moments where you're like, oh, and you're gonna cry, you're gonna scream, you're gonna sob and just like feel lost at the moment. But then after that, it's like, whoo, you see a rainbow, right? It's like that thunderstorm. You're like, damn, this is scary. But then you see that, after the storm that comes upon me, it's so beautiful, so sunny and chilly. That's what life feels like when you're really healing. And I didn't make great choices after this relationship, right? Like I was out and connecting with people, trying to connect with someone again, trying to like find love into someone. Like, well, he gave me attention, he made me feel good, and there you go, falling for that. Oh well, I'm hard, but it's okay. I'm not gonna attach myself. It's nothing. But it's like, no, you should allow yourself. You should respect yourself. You should love yourself. But again, we don't know better, right? It's like someone's
You're
like,
lost in the moment.
yeah, exactly.
You're like, it's like one thing I learned about, and I always talk about this hyper realism, right? When we and it was in my theory class. That shit fucked me up, Daisy. When we go to like a theme park, we see a motherfucker dressed up as Bugs Bunny or Mickey Mouse, and we make believe like that's the actual person. We both know
Right.
that
Hmm.
isn't, but we go into this. It's called hyperrealism, and in YouTube, it's called third dimensional reality. Where we go into this place and we pretend it's like a strip club. We pretend like we're in this fantasy world that exists, but we both know that it's only temporary.
Yeah.
Get lost in it. It's like going to the movies. It's like me when I go to a soccer game. These cats could lose a soccer game and they could go home to their mansions, right? To the nice jacuzzi, right? And I have to go back to work the next day at 6 a.m. where they get to live their dreams.
Yeah.
So we're living in this hyper realism reality. Before I get off topic, we're only playing ourselves, right? And when it comes
Hmm.
to relationship, I want to argue that we also get into that lost into that reality. It's our fake way of saying, like for me, LAFC is my life, right? Like, but I know that at the end of the day, no matter how much I try to get lost in the atmosphere and I love it, that I gotta go back to reality the next day.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so it's like a
They,
relationship. You get lost in a situation, right? And it's, believe me, Daisy, when I learned that shit in class, I was fucked up. I was like, no, I don't want to accept this. But it's the truth. We get lost in the idea of something that never existed. And when you were telling me this,
yeah.
Jim Carrey, right? Before I go
Yeah.
off topic, I read a quote and I
Yeah.
saved
I
it.
love this guy. He's a realist. The most transparent person I've ever like
He
got
is
to know.
spiritual.
Jim Carrey.
Yeah. I'm mad that I ignored.
Yeah.
But there's this quote, and I was reading it the other day because I was talking to the homegirl the other day, and she was telling me about therapy, 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 and I was like, why do people talk about that so much? And the thing is that we haven't normalized therapy, right?
Mm-mm.
And depression. So I'm
Yeah.
like, what is therapy? What is depression, right? Latinos
Mhm.
don't know that, it's masculinity. But he
Yeah.
wrote, depression, right, is your avatar telling you it is tired of being the character you're trying to play.
Yeah.
That shit is
Woo.
real, is what he
Mm.
wrote.
Yeah.
Fuck me up, Daisy. Fuck me up, right? Because you're playing this fake character,
Yeah.
right? This ain't
Yeah.
Universal
I think that
Studios.
it isn't. It isn't. And I think that's where, you get lost, right?
Yeah,
Wanting something that is not real, expecting something that's not real, and you keep giving it energy after energy and time after time,
yep,
and then guess what? You end up being hurt, right? And disappointed, and you go back to trying to, oh, I'm here, and boom, back to zero, right? And that's where I found myself, right? And then after, I think, when 2017, when I that case I got, right, that's when everything just for me. I didn't, like I said, I was so lost. I didn't have a job, right? But somehow I still hold my power to believe that I was going to be okay. And the moment I believed, I had the support, like I said, support of a parent. It's like you don't even have to even like, you don't even worry about that, because they're going to be there for you, and you're so grateful for that. But a support around you, anybody else, like going to someone professional, like talking to someone again,
yeah,
I'm like, why is this happening to me, right? You question that, and i I still kept going, right? Again, haciéndome la fuerte, being the strong one. I have to be tough because something's good going to happen to me. Yes, opportunity showed up, right? And then I'm like, this opportunity is not for me. I want more. Boom, I got something I wanted. So I kept going, right? But through that journey, I still ignored everything else that was going on for me, right? Going inward, right?
yeah.
The emotional part, the mental part, right? You in the outside, you're like, look, she's tough. Look at her, she's going through this, but she got it. But inside, I was like, no, I don't. No, I don't. I want to break. I want to fall into pieces right now, but I have to keep going, because if I don't do it, no one's going to do it for me. That was the mindset, right?
Mhm.
And I think where I said this before, like, I think I connected in the spiritual world with my friend Victor. It's like, we need to go to this like gem store, like gem fair, and we did go, and I just connected something. It's like, if I had lost my faith in God, then I have to believe in something, right? Like, that was my mom's mentality. And I felt like, I feel lost, and I don't know who to trust. I don't even trust myself. I don't trust faith, because of all these things are happening to me. And you lose faith. And I I connected those crystals. I remember I got a crystal. I mean, this is I have two right now. I had another one. Is an amethyst, and this is a black obsidian, protection, and then just balancing and self-expression. That's what I call it. That's what it's for. And I remember I got a rose quartz and a clear quartz. Rose quartz brings love, and I wanted love so much. I want to be loved. I want to love this of someone to love me. But then you don't realize you're not even loving yourself. How can you attract that when you don't even give a fuck about yourself? You don't love yourself because you're expecting love from other people, right? But it's like, where is the self love, right? And it's funny enough, my thing broke, poop, out of nowhere. And I tried to piece it together, and the crystal like broke by itself. It
Oh,
just, poof, it just broke by itself. I don't know. It's the power of the energy you carry with yourself, right? It's a message. You're not ready. That's what I always tell myself. You're not ready for this. Girl, you need to heal. You need to like work on yourself. My friend told me it's happening because you're not ready for that. And I was like, ooh, but he's like, it's okay. You're gonna track that one day. That Chris is gonna come connect with you. And that was just like for me. And I got into to like reading and connecting. And I remember I had a boss, really good boss, a shark. He saw something in me. He told me, Daisy, you have something in you. You have voice. You can talk to people. You have this drive. He gave me the 40 laws of power, right? And that one, whoo, just connected me, because you connect the laws of power again. Everything is the universe, right? It's a law of attraction. But these 48 were a powerful book describing the 40 laws of power of the universe. If someone can correct me, but that's just what I picked up from, right?
Yeah.
Ooh, that just took me to another level. I'm like, okay, I learned something. I learned what this world is about, right? But you're growing and slowly but surely, right? But again, you fall back into that trap again because you think you're okay. You think, and then boom, I got I got the DUI a year after. So it just, I think that was a wake up call for me. I think it was just like, Daisy, what are you doing with yourself? I was in a no fucks given life. So I was thinking that, oh, like I said, going out with friends, coming home late, and trying to avoid everything else, suppress that, the issue, suppress whatever you're dealing with, trying to, like, again, put that band-aid over the problem. And it's like, it was just not working for me. And I think that just like woke me. Once I connected into this, really dig deep spiritually and religion, like my religion, faith is everything, right? In yourself. It starts with you. Again, going back to that, it all starts with you and then everything else. Oh, there was like a awakening for me. I was like, something just, God said, here you go, but you need to make a difference. You need to go out there and show the world what you're about. And I think that was it for me. After that, I feel like opportunities came up, positivity coming to me. Everything I was pushing towards just kept coming to me, like, I see, like, just super smooth. But it's crazy looking through that, and I just like get emotional because, and I feel, and I speak to you with so much pride of how far I've come. Yes, throughout that journey, I hurt a lot of people. I disappointed a lot of people, and especially my parents, because it's like they're so supportive of you and they try not to judge you, but they're like, come on. And I said, mommy, like, who, she made me a strong person, but I see why she's strong, why she taught us to be strong, because it's a cold ass world out there, right? But it's like you have to break those patterns of like what you were taught, and then just follow your own, because you're gonna keep learning, keep growing, learning, growing. Being strong is good, but also being vulnerable, it's okay.
Why do you think we're so stuck in the fact that we have to be here? I need this right now. I need to be here in life.
Anxiety is one. I think you tend to get used to where it feels safe, right? For some people, the past feels safe, right? I remember when I was fine 5 years ago, but today I feel scared. So I'm gonna stick to like how I felt before, instead of saying, you know what, I'm gonna dig deep and I'm gonna be fine and do what I need to do today to not feel that I feel today.
You seen
Experience.
WandaVision, right? The show? Please tell me you seen WandaVision.
No,
Oh, Daisy.
putting
Yo,
it on
this
writing it down.
is a great show. I'm a huge Marvel fan, of course, right? But this one talks about, it's crazy because it took me a while to realize that she was living in depression, right? And again, we laugh at depression, right?
Yeah.
We're so used to, like, remember, what are those, like, we're so accustomed like pointing shit out and laughing at it, right? And especially Latinos, we like to talk a lot of shit, right?
Oh
when
yeah.
I, when I came home, my mom's like, yo, you fat. She was straight up, she's like, you're fat. And I was like, hey, thanks, mom, let me put my stuff down. She's like, damn, you look like shit. We're accustomed to having thick skin, but in WandaVision, Daisy, it talks a lot about, depression, a lot about wanting to live in the past. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
getting way too ahead of myself because I feel like I'm saying too much for you to see the show. But for the people who have seen the show, they could relate to the fact that you are living in the past, right? When you're in a tough situation, you're so used to, accustomed, right, to live in this situation, right?
In
Uh,
a bubble, a safe, we call it a safe space, right? It's a safe
but it's a
space.
fake world. It's not a fake world because at one time it existed. We get lost. We get lost in that, right? And that Maya Angelou, I'm a huge fan. I always say this, like, if you don't like something, fix it. If you can't fix it, change the way you think.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right? And people are so stuck on pressing rewind, rewind. It's like a broken fucking record. It's like a scratchy D. A lot of cats don't know what a scratchy D sounds like, man. You know what I mean? But it's like,
Oh,
damn, just
def-
skip the goddamn song. No matter how
yeah.
good the song is, skip it.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't
Yeah.
care what it brings to you. Press next.
Next. Exactly. I know it sounds silly, but it's just so it's silly. We're smiling, laughing about it just because I'm
Yeah,
looking back and I'm like, I love this song, but it's like, oh well, skip it or get buy yourself a iPod now because CD players are getting play. It's just I know we're because it's beautiful memories, but
yeah,
now
yeah.
serious note, it's true, right? It sounds so simple. So, it sounds so simple to say, like, well, yeah, I'm just gonna move. Tomorrow I'm gonna be a better person. No, you stop lying to yourself that tomorrow I'm gonna be a better person because guess what? It doesn't take. It's not gonna take one day. It can take a week. It can take 3 weeks, and I say this all the time. A month, years. Again, going back saying the same thing, healing is endless. You don't ever stop healing because then you go through something again and then you gotta overcome it. So it's like if you're saying you're healed and you're like, okay, well, you're not a superhero or just like, pain, you don't inflict pain because like you're protecting it with your shield. It doesn't work that way. Yeah, you can protect it, but you're harming yourself, trying to like always protect yourself and allowing that, there's things coming at you, but you're like, whatever, I'm just gonna block them. And this is how you're gonna live, go out, with life,
Fake it.
protecting your shield, right? And
Yeah,
faking fine, I'm tough, but it's like, it just gets you're draining yourself. There's a story that my therapist shared with me. It's called the potato sack, right? And people, I'll make it brief, but I'll say it in my way. But professor tells his students, their college students, like, oh, bring a potato sack of potatoes today, right? And they're like, what the hell? And he's like, okay, in each potato, take them all out in each potato, tell write about everything you feel. It could be about your parents, something negative, something that hurts you, something that makes you happy, something that bothers you. And people started writing it down. He's like, each time you feel something, put it in there, people will write like, yeah. And he's like, and this student asked, like, professor, like, this thing is heavy, why do you have us carrying it with ourselves all the time? Like, I'm tired. He's like, well, that's how you carry all that resentment, frustration, anger towards yourself, to people. You carry that. Who wants to carry that weight on your shoulder every day? Let that shit go and keep going. That's all I can say. It's heavy. Who wants to carry that in themselves? It's not easy. No. But again, going back to, for me, self-love is like everything. Like for me, every message I send, if whoever follows me, it always comes down to self-love. It can be funny, but it has to be about self-love because that has been like I've been an advocate about that of that now because of everything I've gone through. So reminding yourself, like, always love yourself, even through like hard times, even through like disappointments or things that don't work out for you. But just tell yourself, you know what? I love me. I made it. I gave it a try. But there's something out there for me, something better for me, a job, a person.
the way you think takes you a long way. And I was thinking about this quote. I had to pull it out while you were talking about it. Right? It says, just loving yourself is one thing, but having the courage to take on an obstacle when it's very difficult for you. It may be simple for someone else, right?
Yeah.
I remember this quote. It goes by, and I'm gonna read it right now. It says, "Courage isn't having the strength to go on. It's going on when you don't have the strength."
Oof, yeah.
You know
Feel
what
that.
I mean? Because we all go through obstacles on a daily basis. We all go through disagreements on a daily basis. If you think that life is beautiful and it's gonna stay that way, you fucked up. And the older
You're
you get,
lying to yourself. You're lying to
you're
yourself. If that's
playing
the
yourself. You're playing yourself, right?
mm,
So you talked about, and if you don't mind me asking, Daisy, this is a very delicate subject, and we can move on to the next step. All right, but I heard jail in the beginning. Okay,
mhm,
we've all made mistakes, and my past ain't that pretty either. All right,
yeah.
so if you don't mind telling people who are familiar with that, are about to go through that, or know someone that's been through that, what it's like and what your experience is.
Well, I've been fortunate. I was fortunate not to step in. I did step into it actually. Um, when I got into trouble, like I said, I was involved into some shit that was shady. I was actually accused of that same charge because I was like basically an accomplice, right? Um, with no shame embezzlement, and for the company I was working for, but I was just an accomplice, right? But they still charged like everybody else, right?
Yeah.
And I think that was scary for me because I already had my family at the time had, because luckily I'm, been so fortunate to have them home, but already in the system. So imagine having to like realize like the first big person that came to my mind was my mom. Damn, the pain I'm gonna cause her again. So again, trying to be the tough one, trying to get through it. But one day I was like, I can't keep this from her. I told her, look, I have court in the 2 weeks. Like I need your support. I need help. Right. I did 5 hours and I'm like, never again. I'm not stepping any foot there. Right. And that journey through that, the fear, the what if, trying to think about the future, you can't, because the universe and God is telling you, no, you gotta live through this. You can't fix that. You can't go back to fix that. It happened already. Oh well. Again, going back to saying, let that shit go and keep moving forward. I'm gonna say this all the time, and these words are. Remember when I say this when I'm doing TED Talks? Let that thing go.
Hey.
And moving forward. You just have to. You have to go through these, right? Like I said, it's not pretty, right? But you have to, don't. And I did, and it's not pretty. The what ifs or what's going to happen, you can't think about your future. You feel like a blockage. You can't. It's foggy, right? You have to get through it. But once you get through it, you see the light, and you'll understand the lesson of this situation, of this certain, of this just moment of life. That just, what can you do? Nothing. It's already happening. But keeping your head up, cry. I did. Shoot, I remember there was many times I cried. I was like, oh my God. And I was so angry at myself, trying to replay the again, the should have, could have, would have scenario. Or what if, because we do that a lot as human. It's okay. But it's like, let that go. And now it's like, what am I going to do now to do X, Y, and Z? How am I going to do this for myself? And then plan X, Y, and Z. That's all you can do. And just get through it, push through, because that's all you can do.
You got a bunch of cement walls and a lot of thinking to do in between that time.
Yeah. And those 5 hours, I was like, whoo, I'm like, I remember I was with someone who, I know it's scary. I mean, it's different. Like, I remember there was a there who was like, oh, you're going to go to prison for sure. I started crying. I was like, I don't want to go to prison, but it didn't happen because it didn't happen. That's not for me. It was a lesson in life, and you learn from it and you just keep going. Don't live past. I'm here. Again, we'll probably get more and tap into that a little later, but it's like you just have to, you grow a little more from that experience. And then another experience comes and you grow a little more. If you choose, you're the victim, or you choose to learn from this lesson and keep going.
You think that's a generational thing? I was thinking of something else, but you said a victim. Do you think people tend to pull that out? And it's not. I'm not talking about the race card. I'm just talking about in general. Like, is this generation stuck to saying I'm the victim?
It's hard to say that, because I no longer, I see it, I was a victim of domestic violence, but I choose to be a survivor. It's all what you choose. It's all on person. I can't say yes or no. I'm speaking for myself. I was a victim, but I'm a survivor, and I can now, and I feel great. I don't look back. I'm like, oh, this is what happened. I don't drain myself, or like, I'm a survivor. And I was my therapist, I survived. I survived a lot. I'm a survivor of so many things. That's all I can. That's all I can say. Because they have a different story, and you can't judge that person. You will never understand till you're in that situation.
I've met someone recently that has been she was a foster child. She was in the system, and the shit she told me she'd been through, Daisy. God damn.
Yeah.
I've been through some shit. I've told you the shit that I've been through. But when I hear her story, whoa, damn. I lived in paradise compared to what she lived through.
Yeah.
Foster child. She was abused sexually, mentally, physically, as an innocent child, placed in a system to rot. The system is painted as a way to serve us so-called Americans, that these people are taken care of, right? And they are fucked over, right? And when they get out of the system as a foster child, they have no education, right? Or
Mhm.
limited education and no experience. Daisy, tell me, who the fuck is gonna want to hire you with that situation?
Mhm. Nobody.
Ain't nobody gonna hire you. So what happens is that when she told me that, what happens is that a lot of cats end up in depression, right? And this is what I'm talking about, the victim card, because these guys are the victims.
Yeah.
And what happens, and she told me that some of her close ones, unfortunately, end up in Skid Row, end up behind bars, end up in this and that situation, right? So, damn, Daisy. I mean, I've gotten more spiritual lately, but god damn, I really do feel for these.
I think that's the thing. It just, you have to listen to the story to understand
Yeah.
that. You can't just say play, because people play the victim card, but it's hard. Like I said, I can't speak for anybody, so I'm gonna speak for myself. But when
Mhm.
you hear your story, you're like, wow, like you said, wow, I've been so fortunate. You it hits you like, wow, I really am fortunate. So that's why, because you just don't know. That's why you don't judge, you don't speak more than you're supposed to. Because let me tell you, when you become that person, things do come to you. And when they hit you, you're gonna be like, oh, I should, bite my tongue and never said nothing. I should have not done that. Just, you know what? Everyone's living and has a story, and you just have to be okay and understand them. You don't have to relate. You can relate. You don't have to relate or understand them, but you just have to respect that, because that's what it is. We all have a story.
This is very important, Daisy, and the fact that you have become very spiritual with yourself. Very optimistic with yourself with the next chapters. You don't see yourself as someone who's optimistic. You're already painting yourself as a healer, as a teacher. I don't know what crystals you're rubbing together, all right? But you whatever you're doing, you know what I mean? You keep doing that.
What you think becomes reality. What you speak becomes a reality. What you reality, it's all in the mindset, all in your voice. Everyone's like, no, but oh, trust me, sooner or later you'll see, like, oh my God, this really happened, right? So
Yeah.
what you focus on really becomes a focus, and it becomes reality, right? Okay, disconnected with what's in front of me at the moment.
Mhm.
It doesn't serve me anymore, right? And my job doesn't serve me anymore. But no, I'm not. No, we're not here sugarcoating that. It doesn't serve me, right? But I'm not gonna be like, oh well, it is what it is. No, I'm doing something about it, right? I want to become my own entrepreneur. I want to become a healer. I want to motivate people. I want to empower people. It's always been in my heart. Like I told you earlier, that tattoo I have, must be the change you wish to see in the world. I want to be that change. I want to help people.
I wanted to ask you, and someone told me to switch this shit up with my podcast. I need to throw a trivia question, a
Ooh,
curveball. Tell me one of the best travel experiences that you had, and something that
uh,
you can take away from that experience that you could recommend to any other cat.
honestly, oof, I think on it, I have many, but I think this one that came to my head was New Orleans. I was going through this situation, prison, the whole case, the embezzlement case. And my Cindy and I went, like, we said, you know what, let's go. Who cares? And the experience that you're able to connect with people who vibe with you. I connected people from LA who are still my friends till this day. That experience was beautiful. We laughed, we connected about LA, just talk about LA, like what LA means to us. We experience, it's just everything, the energy, the food. I think you needed that. For me, that experience, at least that, there's many more, but at least talking about this particular time of my life, New Orleans, that travel was fun. I got to go
What's it
to,
like?
yeah, I don't know, it's just a different
What's the vibe like? Is it
energy.
like a Vegas
Like
from the East
everyone's
Coast,
like,
from the South?
very like, everyone's in tune. It's very like, everyone's very like humble in that sense. So that's, Mississippi has, Mississippi. I went to Mississippi, New Orleans, Louisiana has a story, like, remember what happened, the hurricane. And these people became more humble, loving people who hype you up, their story, the whole spirituality, voodoo. I learned about voodoo and I was so excited. I'm
Ooh,
like, it
you brought that
was,
up. Okay.
I connected to that. So I think sometimes people, like I say, sometimes we choose to like escape ourselves from something or just like experience, right? I did both, but I came back with this like happy. making friends.
Even with all the chaos that was happening.
Yeah,
With
I ran
friends.
away, and again, I try to like escape myself from the situation, the reality of what I was going, but also wanted to experience, because like you keep going, right? If somebody is there, go for it. So I did. Beautiful experience. Oh my god, I got a voodoo doll. My friend's like, "You're crazy,"
You got a
and
what?
a voodoo doll, a cute
Oh,
voodoo.
hell no. What the
It
heck?
was beautiful.
Tell me
Well,
more about the voodoo doll before I keep before I press end. No, I'm kidding. I'm blessing.
voodoo was a practice. So sorry, sirens. Voodoo is a practice. They made it. I think there's a lot of misconceptions about voodoo. Like people put it like make it. It became dark, from what I was taught, and might get me wrong. Might be wrong, but this is
Yeah.
my logic. Well, in New Orleans, it was a religion to keep going. People who needed that something, hope from all the chaos that they were going through at that time, right? And voodoo wasn't something bad. It wasn't dark at that time. So it was something like
Religion.
it became something. But then through years, it became a little darker and darker and darker. That's what I was taught. I got my little voodoo. I still have it somewhere. Super cute pirate voodoo, and it's like a pirate of love, and it was so cute. See, love has always been like everywhere for me, a sign of something. So I love that. I think that's why self-love, I cannot like, I'm a huge advocate of like self-love and love and
You're a big fan of love. I
yeah.
like that. I like love. I like you must have been through something, right? Or experienced something for you to yearn that more. And
Yeah. And
now you
also
got that. Go ahead.
being given love and then not being loved, right? I've been loved so much by my mom, my family so much. Like my mom loved my mom loved us so much, taught us to love no matter what. And through my experience, I never stopped loving. I never said I'm gonna be cold-hearted. I could never. The most loving, genuine person you will ever meet. But you play with me, that's a whole nother story. I won't even say nothing. My silence, whoo, that's all you need. And trust me, that silence is the worst, is the worst than any like horrible, you know?
Life is beautiful until you make it not beautiful. There you gotta keep continue to find things, right? Even in your imperfection.
I
Like
can, yes, I can stress it, and I feel it when I say that. I can feel it in my heart how happy I am in this present moment, and
yeah.
happy I'm still gonna continue to be, because I'm gonna make that choice every day to just smile and be happy. Gotta be real. I love being real. I love raw. Like I know I always say this to you. I love to be raw and real. That's always been my thing. And not always, because I wasn't always this person, but the last 5 years I have been raw and real about everything, just going through it, getting through everything. So
this is
I've been,
dope. This is a dope Daisy. She got
yeah,
a cocoon.
been dope, but just in a doper version, right? I know it doesn't make sense, but whatever.
I call this the golden hour. And
It's
when you I've gone into cinematography, videography, right? And one thing I learned is that the golden hour is 1 hour after sunrise, 1 hour before sunset.
mm-hmm.
Everything looks beautiful.
Yes, I'm a sunrise, I'm a sunset and person and moon.
Maybe
So
the sunsets. I love.
yeah.
Oh, and the moon. Don't get me started with full moons, right? Well,
My,
maybe it's the Aries thing, but I call that the golden hour because that's the realization. That is the when I'm recording this and my drone is this Daisy. I don't know how to explain it. It's this beautiful moment, right?
yeah.
Where I get lost in my screen when I'm recording, and I there's this optimism that comes in place, but this responsibility that I have in order
Right.
to capture the best moment for my viewer. And I relate that to life because this is a very important moment that you have to grasp. It's like no matter what the day has presented, right? Like 9/11, maybe the building has fallen, unfortunately, right? That the
Mm-hmm.
sun is still gonna set, whether you want
Right.
to accept it or not. So you have to digest what you had within that day and get ready for the next day. Because with or without your permission, that golden hour is gonna come and is gonna exit, and the next day is gonna come.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
So
I
yes,
can, yep. Who couldn't said any better? And that's where I'm at. I am in my golden hour, and I say it with so much emotion and intention to you and viewers. Like, I love my life. And I mean, tell you that love where I'm at, and I might cry, I'm emotional because I'm emotional today for me. I love where I'm at. I'm embracing this moment. I'm not gonna think about a week from today. I'm not gonna look back. I'm just embracing this beautiful experience that I'm living through everything, right? Just
Yeah.
have to love yourself, love everything around you, love the people who love you, love even the people and those who don't love you, right?
Mhm.
Just love, just be good. Always be good. And
Tell me this, and I feel that 100%. I'm hearing all of that. Um, if you could differentiate the relationship that you have with yourself versus your significant other, because I want to congratulate you again with your relationship and everything that's going through. You know, the strength continues to get stronger and stronger from what you tell me. What is the difference between the relationship with yourself and the relationship with someone else? What are the similarities in the opposite?
well, the thing, okay, I think something that I've learned just from experience,
Yeah.
the love for yourself always I still have it, right? But because I love so hard and so good with so much good intention, I feel like when I give it to my significant other, it's so pure, right? And there's no resistance. Is it scary? Fuck yeah. I was like, I'm manifesting you. What are you doing here? Are you real? Like, I wanted a good man, an intelligent man, a fire like me and intellectual, and then boom, he's there. Do we have a hot flaws? Do we all have flaws? Yes, we do. I'm not perfect. He's not perfect, but we work as a team, right? As like supportive of each other, right? And sometimes I'm like, I don't want to talk, but you talk, and there he is pulling. And when he's not talking, I'm talking to him. He's just listening, right? It's like the love for you have for yourself, you're able to give it to them, right? But then when you're not with this person, you go back to yourself, right? What about making sure you're taking care of yourself, but also knowing that this person's still around, right? But when you're with this person, there's a fire, a beautiful dynamic, a beautiful like connection. But then when we're apart, we can still be ourselves. He's himself, he has his day, him day, I have my me day. But hey, like, what are you doing? Hours later, oh, I'm here. Like, I came to the, and it's just so, it's natural without forcing, without doubt, without questioning it or the what if, or what if, that's when that's not healthy. And to answer that question, so it's just always knowing that you have to make sure your relationship with yourself is still good, even with this person, because you can give so much love to other people, but are you giving yourself that love too? Is it reciprocating? Is it coming back to you? So energies have to be just like this, like going back like
Like a
this,
point.
and it becomes one,
Yeah.
no, but also you got to be yourself. You got to also be
So,
independent.
you know what Will Smith once said, and I'm pretty sure you've seen this before. Will Smith said that his wife battled with depression, right? And it's normal. People go through shit, right? Midlife crisis, hormones, job obstacles, family, yada yada yada, right? But he told
Mhm.
me one of the most savagest thing I've ever heard, but most like dopest thing I've ever heard is that he told her that you gotta have your shit together. The same way
Mhm.
I gotta have my shit together, right? Because we are here to handle our own business. And once we handle our own business, we can form this bridge within each other, right? And I'm butchering what he said, right? But in order for us to have this partnership, right, we have to have our own situations figured out in some shape or form as well,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Because other than that, like I'm here to meet you. You know what I mean? It's like when I'm playing soccer, right? I try to uplift people. When I used to wear the captain's band, which is hard because you want to be good, but you want to be rebellious on the field. You want to be that supporter. You want to support that person, but sometimes they carry so much onto the field from their past. Like
Mhm.
my homie got shanked. My dad is in the hospital. My mom is going through this, right? You're like, oh shit, how can I tell him we need to win this game, right?
You're like, we
Yeah,
got it.
yeah. You're like, oh snap, right? Like I wasn't expecting this, right?
Yeah.
Um, but how do I tell them that this game is important to me, right? So it's like it's the same thing. It's a relationship with your teammate, right? You got to tell them we are still trying to get these 3 points, regardless this W, right? This dub, regardless if you've gone through that. I'm sorry your homie got shanked, but right now it's you and me right now. We got to win this game, right? So
Mhm.
that's what Will Smith said, and that messed me up. That messed me up because you got to have your shit together, like you keep saying, Daisy. You
Yeah.
you really got to question yourself.
Yeah.
Lose yourself.
The right things will come. We become so hopeless
Yeah.
because we're seeing results in ourselves, in our body,
Yeah.
and we're not getting what we want in whatever aspect of your life or wherever you are right now, right? We feel like but you just have to continue to make yourself that you trust yourself, you believe in yourself, because they're like, oh, well, he believes in me, so that makes me happy. But like, do you believe in yourself? Because at the end of the day, it all comes down to you. Like, you can have a partnership, something beautiful, but it's like, do you love yourself hard? Do you tell yourself, I'm still here, like, this is who I am? And again, going back to what we spoke last time, not changing for this, there's things are going to be different. You got to work through things, right? Little things here, but don't become a whole other person just to please other people or your significant other. You cannot make your other person change for you. That's when you lack self-love, right? Or it's like, oh, give me. But what if this person is no longer the person? So what? Because this person, that's the only way you love. You feel love because this individual loves you. Like, you gotta going. I know it's so repetitive. It's like, you gotta love you and just hug yourself and enjoy yourself. And then everything else falls into place. But partnerships, self, with or without a partner, love has to always be there, and it has to be with you, for sure.
Two more questions, because what I want is 5 more podcasts with Daisy. Okay. So I want to save the episodes so that people could tune in later. All right. 2 more questions.
What's up?
1, anybody that's going through domestic violence, how can you tell them to get the fuck out of that situation? And how can you tell them to stay in that situation? And what's the motherfucking difference? That's question number 1, please.
Say it again. Repeat it again. Okay, I heard the first part, but I didn't hear the second part.
Absolutely. So domestic violence. How do you know when to get the hell out of that situation? How do you know when to stay in that situation? And how can you differentiate those two?
It's hard. I think every story is different, but I feel like stories are different, but it's the same thing. We are our victim, right? I like to say that it's not your fault, right? Yeah. You are not the problem, right? You did not cause this, and stop allowing someone to make you feel like you are the problem of everything, right? And it's not easy to walk away, but just always seek for help. I didn't talk to somebody. Screw the embarrassment, screw the shame, screw what people are gonna say. You know what? It's you don't ever want to regret something, and the situation is worse, and then you're not gonna even have a voice for that.
Yeah.
And you're gonna hurt other people because of that. It's unfortunate, but these stories, like, people with these women end up dead, and I've said this, and I remember it hit me one day when I watching this documentary about it. I don't remember, but I saw it on YouTube random, and I'm like, I want to be okay to watch this, because when you're at the moment, like, oh, you're scared to see this, right? Like, oh, you're like, you don't want to accept it, and people end up no longer be able to speak up. So speak up, share with someone, communicate with someone, even if this person's like, oh my God, you're in a situation, just keep talking, and just do your best to walk away as soon as the signs are there. Are they easy? Is it easy? No. But then there's always a way out.
Yeah.
I don't want to say an opportunity, but if you see the signs, walk away. If you pick it up, walk away. Don't like, oh, it was a shove. No, that's not healthy. He yelled at me and called me a bitch. No, it's not okay, because you don't disrespect yourself like that. If you love someone, you respect them.
Yeah. Respect is one of the pillars of a healthy relationship. Respect, communication, trust, loyalty.
Oof. Let me tell you, I have my 5 virtues: loyalty, respect, communication, effort, and just love.
Ooh. Mm-hmm. Ooh, I'm gonna end this right here. Fuck my other question. No, you know what, Daisy? I saw this and I couldn't relate with you anymore. I saw this Brazilian movie once, and at the end, so the woman cheated on her man, who was like this top model guy. He was a personal trainer, right? Mm-hmm. And she didn't know that he was cheating on her way before she cheated on him. He was sleeping with one of his clients. Mm-hmm. So they went to therapy, right? And at the end of the movie, they ended it with like one of the last scenes was like, "Hey, when do I know this relationship is over?" Right? And just to let you know, the relationship continued. They were able to forgive each other in some shape or form and move on forward, right? But the therapist gave them a scenario of this one situation where this lady went up to a guru and said, "My husband mistreated me verbally. All right,
Mm-hmm.
what should I do?" And the guru was like, "Go back to him and forgive him." And she was so confused, like, "Damn, I was hoping this motherfucker would tell me move on, right?"
Yeah.
And the husband assaults her, hurt her physically. And so she goes up to the guru and he's like, "Yo, this time he hurt me. What should I do?" And the guru's like, "Go back to him and forgive him." Right? And she's like, "This motherfucker's tripping." Right? This is the worst thing that can happen in a relationship, right? Which is unfortunate because it's common nowadays, right? So time goes on, and then she goes up to the guru again, and she's pissed off. She needs an answer, right? She goes up to the guru and she's like, "Yo, um, this time he not only assaulted me verbally, but he hit me. He did both. And
Mm-hmm.
what should I do now?" And the guru is like, "Go back to him and forgive him." And she's like, "No, no, 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 no. You told me this one too many times already. Why do you keep telling me this?" And the guru's like, "Because the day you're ready to move on, you won't ask me what should you do next.
Ooh.
The day you're ready to move on,
What you allow,
you're
what you
gonna ask."
allow will continue. That's all. That's it. What you allow it to be okay will be okay. It could be like inflicted physically, verbally, mentally. None of that is
Yeah.
healthy. But don't know,
Yeah.
no. And
And
it's sad.
I give it
It's
up to
sad.
women
We
because
we we want something like, oh, we were so perfect, but perfect, there's no such thing as perfect. And if this person really talks to you like that, disrespects you, this person doesn't care for you,
no,
right? Like,
no.
to be accepting of it. And I'm telling you, I'm saying this because of experience, not because I'm here trying to like throw knowledge and like shame anybody. You
Yeah.
shouldn't feel shame. We shouldn't feel shame about it. I'm not shamed about it anymore. I went through it all, and fuck no, it's not pretty. So no,
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
make that. Love yourself. Love yourself, and move on. And you'll find something better. Something not even fine. Stop. You will attract something beautiful. A beautiful soul like you are,
Yeah.
because we are beautiful souls. We are good people. No
100%.
matter what, even no matter what's happened, the experiences, shit, mistakes we've done, we are beautiful people, and we have to see ourselves that way.
Un honor tenerte. I feel like we could go on for another 5 more
I
hours.
know. Thank you so much for having me. And like I said, you keep going. I'm even advice to you, keep going, keep going. Life is like, appreciate life, embrace whatever it is that you have at the present moment. Life is beautiful. We just have to embrace and appreciate and just live.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. Daisy, I love you 3000, like Tony Stark says. All right. And
Right. Sending out the love to you. Thank you for having me again. My love to you.
un gran
Bye.
abrazo.